Welcome again. We're going to be serving hors d'oeuvres, and they'll start passing that out now, and the actual program will begin in about 10 minutes. And I just thought I'd throw something out there for you. I'm sure there's a few parents that went to White Bear, I hope. I went to White Bear, loved the place. There's a Facebook site called You Know You're from White Bear If. And on that, my high school physics teacher's son threw out the question, hey, who did you have for a teacher in high school that you really liked? And it just went on for months where people are talking about it. And, you know, I'm sure there's some teachers here that have been mentioned, so you may want to go on there and see what people thought of you. And if you want to pipe in and talk about your teaching experience, it was kind of cool. I had a hard time narrowing it down to 5 because I didn't want to be a space hog. But it was an interesting exercise, and I kind of realized I liked every teacher I had at White Bear. So we'll be back at 7:15 to get this thing going.
It's a short ride from your neighborhood to your naturehood. Find fun activities to do, like boating and biking, or camping and hiking, plus much more. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
Good evening. Welcome once again to the 2017 Excellence Event. My name is Kurt Haglund, White Bear, Class of 70, Go Bears. We are gathered here tonight to celebrate the academic accomplishments of the top performing students of White Bear Lake Area High School and White Bear Lake Area Learning Center, Class of 2017. The students sitting at your tables are attending this evening's program because of their hard work, creativity, determination, motivation, and perseverance. Families and friends have many reasons to be extremely proud while honoring their young scholars. We invite you to share in the excitement of tonight's program. Each student who is recognized this evening is honoring an educator who has significantly impacted his or her educational and life experiences, be it grade school, middle, or high school, within the school building itself, on an athletic field, or even in a school bus. The educators who are present tonight have uniquely connected with these students. The support and encouragement from these special educators have left positive imprints that will continue to impact their students for years to come. The word educator encompasses our administrators, teachers, specialists, support staff, coaches, our food service workers, and bus drivers. All are people who celebrate the importance of learning within our schools. Role models and mentors may leave their marks in various ways. Comments shared by students about their educators in tonight's printed program indicate their sincerity. To those students here tonight whose lives have been impacted by their selected educator, we congratulate you and wish you the very best following your graduation from White Bear Lake Area High School. To those educators who are being celebrated as well, we thank you for your commitment to your students. The Excellence Event thanks all of our sponsors, individuals, businesses, and service organizations for their financial support. Those of you who have provided financial support for the Excellence Event, including at the bronze, silver, and gold levels are noted in the recognition page at the back of your program. Complimentary hors d'oeuvres and desserts for each student and his or her educator have been provided through generous donations from our loyal sponsors. In many cases, a sponsor or sponsors may be present at your table. Take a look around. If you have a sponsor near you, take the time to thank him and her for attending tonight's event and for his or her support. We would like to recognize members of the White Bear Lake Area School District 624 School Board, whose names appear in your Excellence Event program. Would you please stand? Now, in August of 2009, the White Bear Lake School District received an invitation to host a Chinese exchange teacher through a partnership between the Minnesota Department of Education and the Hangzhou Foreign Languages School. Ting Ting Cho was selected as the teacher to come to White Bear Lake from September to July. As a part of a broad effort to give our students exposure to language and culture, she has had residences in our elementary schools and has been serving as a resource at the middle and high schools. Tonight she is seated at table 20. Ting Ting, please give her a hand. Now, tonight's event was created to honor excellence in our schools. And tonight we honor students of excellence of the class of 2017 and the teachers who have inspired them to academic success. Our first speaker is White Bear Lake's Teacher of the Year. He personifies excellence in the classroom. Phil Wacker is a physics teacher at South Campus and the Area Learning Center. He represents the excellence the teachers across our district bring to our classrooms every day. Please welcome Phil Wacker.
All right, thank you very much. Oh, and it begins. I'd like to take a few minutes tonight to show my gratitude and appreciation for the students I teach every day. But first, to set the tone for that, I need to talk a little bit about my career. I started my teaching career in Madison, Wisconsin, before teaching in the St. Paul Public Schools, then on the south side of Chicago, and then in a very affluent suburb of Chicago. I had a very unique opportunity to teach in 4 different school districts within the first 8 years of my career. This was a result of my wife and I moving a lot as she pursued career opportunities. At least that's the story I told Mr. Wald when I interviewed here. I swear that I've never been fired from a job, and I'd like to keep that tradition going if we could. Thank you. But before coming to the White Bear Lake schools, I experienced working with some of the most challenging students I could ever imagine, as well as working with some of the most gifted students I had ever met. But when I started working at South Campus and at the Area Learning Center, things were different. Sure, I still work with students who provide me with challenges. Some of you may or may not be in this room right now. And I also work with students who have as much potential as any person I have ever met, and a lot of the people in this room fit that role. But what was different for me was just how compassionate and caring our students are in White Bear Lake. One tradition that highlights the giving nature of our students is our annual food drive. I've never seen anything like the food drive at South Campus. I looked this up. I checked all my old emails to see the numbers. For about the last 10 years, South Campus alone has collected an average of 20,000 pounds of food every single year. Yeah. Which is also a kudos to the teachers and students who have been involved in student council organizing that. That means basically each student brings practically an average of 20 pounds per food each. I used to feel good about myself when I would dig in the pantry, find maybe 2-year-old cans of soup that my little kids had refused to eat, and then I would bring those 2 cans of soup in and pat myself on the back, And then I would see the shipping pallets in the lunchroom that were loaded with maybe 5,000 packs of ramen that all of our students had been bringing in. It really is a sight to see. Another tradition that demonstrates our students' compassion is the blood drive. At the Area Learning Center, the field trip to donate blood maxes out every time we go, and there's always students turned away because there just isn't enough room to take them. South Campus has the same issue. Our students are so willing to give that there isn't enough time in the day for everyone to donate. I've talked to multiple students at the end of the blood drive who were frustrated because for whatever reason, they weren't allowed to donate blood that day. And these are teenagers who are angry because they didn't get the chance to get jabbed in the arm with a needle. That sounds like a pretty sweet deal to me. It is a testament, though, to the character of the students we work with. Finally, and I asked students today to help me pronounce this, and I'm sure they'll give me a score tomorrow, Casa de Esperanza, where our students come together as homerooms to donate wrapped gifts to families in need during the holiday season. And it's not little things. When I looked at the pictures, there was a full-size bicycle. Some lucky kid was getting a bike. It amazed me just how willing people were to give. Seeing our students put so much effort to bring happiness to children whom they've never met before is really a testament to just how remarkable they are and is as important as any of their academic achievements. I would be remiss to not also acknowledge the educators and teachers involved in making these things happen, many of whom are in this room tonight. As I reflect more on what I love about working in the White Bear schools, I realize that more than the students, maybe the people I should be thanking are their parents and families. As my students know, and I've already brought them up once, I will find a way to talk about my own kids in any and every conversation that you start with me. I will turn it around to my own children. I'm sorry, I do. And if you would like, I have countless photos on my phone. After the program, meet me in the lobby. I'll show you every single one of them. But what happens on multiple occasions during parent-teacher conferences, I find myself losing focus on their child and thinking about my own kids and, geez, I wish my kids grow up to be like your child. I'm thinking, what's your secret? How did you raise your child to be such a good person? Not just a good student, but a good person. The involvement, passion, and commitment that the White Bear parents and families show their students is one of the greatest strengths of our community. As a teacher, I am thankful for the students who walk into my classroom every day, and I truly appreciate the families that raise such amazing kids. Thank you very much.
And thank you, Phil. Next, we will introduce our first student speaker, Taylor Potts, who will reflect on scholarship and responsibility. Taylor has been a student in the White Bear Lake schools since her first day of school. She's been involved with activities such as art, chemistry club, link, crew, and volleyball. Highlights during her high school years were volunteering through the White Bear Lake JO's Volleyball Association and also at her church. She has been admitted to the honors program at Biola University in Southern California, where she will study chemistry and human biology. Please welcome Taylor.
Hi. First of all, I just want to congratulate everyone for making it here at this event. You deserve it. This excellence event wouldn't exist if you weren't excellent at what you do. There's a phrase that stands out to me that says, "To whom much is given, much will be required." And I think there's meaning behind those words. To me, we have a responsibility with all that we've been given as scholars. There are so many factors like opportunity, resources, and giving back that plays into what it means to be a scholar and what our responsibility is for that. But first, I want to share a little bit about myself. My name is Taylor Potts, yet my birth name is Korean, Yoo Jin Kim. I don't even know if I pronounced that right. To be honest, I think it's Kim Yoo Jin. But I have a family, a mom, a dad, and a brother. We are a family, yet none of us are related by blood. Around 18 years ago, my dad traveled all the way to Seoul, South Korea. There, he spent 2 weeks visiting me and becoming comfortable with the fact that him and my mom were having a baby girl. He eventually brought me, at the age of 6 months, to a new place I would call home. My brother went through a similar experience before me and was adopted also. This was how my family came together. My parents raised me well. As a kid, I was told to reach for the sky and to land among the clouds, for the sky is the limit. I grew up in a family where my parents were my biggest supporters. They were my #1 fans in the crowd at sporting events. They told me to do the best I could in school, and they gave me an upscale life when they weren't even obligated to do so. If I succeeded, they celebrated, and if I failed, they understood. I feel so lucky to be taken in as young as I was. I came to this country, even as a baby, with high hopes for my future, a future given to me by my parents who were able to send me to this school and provide me with the materials that I needed. This is the place where I was able to receive the best education I could have ever imagined. Like I said before, as I was a kid, I was told to reach for the sky and to land among the clouds, for the sky is the limit. We're all reaching for something. We're all hoping to make it where we hope to be in life. We must take what we've been given, and there has been so much given to us. The hours of work teachers put into our learning, the community that donates resources and gives us a place to call home, and everything that White Bear has to offer. It's almost overwhelming with all of the books available, online resources, wise teacher brains. The internet is pretty cool too. I mean, if they let us use the Wi-Fi. Just kidding, maybe. The chances of me being adopted into the family I did, going to White Bear, as well as being able to utilize the tools in a way that I could succeed, was so incredibly rare, and I am so grateful. Just like all of the students at White Bear, we were all able to apply the materials to our education and go beyond what was asked of us. With that, we are capable of making something that is great, something that is valuable, and something that is worthwhile. The preparation White Bear provided us with is what makes this capability so tangible. As a scholar, we're making our way up, and we'll have a few falls, it's destined, but what defines the difference between a scholar and an average student is whether or not we choose to get back up. It's our job to take the opportunities we see fit, to take hold of them, and to embrace them while we soar through the adventures of our lives. I have a friend who volunteered at a school in Thailand to teach English, and she aspires to become an ESL teacher. This is her way of giving back to the community, she says. She was on her own at 18, teaching children new language for 6 months. And the advice she gave to me, she said, don't hold back, take risks, even if it scares the HE double hockey sticks out of you, because you'll only regret the chances that you didn't take. It's essentially our obligation for us to do the same. So snatch opportunities that will make you a better you, and become the student that White Bears always strived for you to be. But be humble, be generous, and your purpose as a scholar will be uncovered. We all did something right. Subsequently, we're here, and it is such a privilege for us to be honored tonight. We must take what we've been given and do so willingly. Our requirement is to give back to the community, to our parents, to the world, to strangers, to each other, to love one another, to excel at what we're good at, and to pursue what we're passionate about, and to not only touch the sky, but go beyond the clouds. For the sky isn't the limit, it's only the beginning. Thank you.
Thank you, Taylor. Our next speaker is Miriam Probst. She will consider an educator's influence. Miriam, known as Mitzi to her friends and family, has excelled in a variety of activities during her time in White Bear Lake. She has worked to serve the community through her involvement in programs like National Honor Society and Link Crew. In her spare time, Mitzi enjoys more relaxing school activities like knitting and chemistry club. She is currently in her 4th season of track and field. Mitzi was accepted into the honors program at Concordia College in Moorhead, where she will major in neuroscience. Mitzi.
The internet is filled with information. If I'm having trouble with a subject, I can do a search and find a YouTube video. It may explain everything I'm confused about in plain English. Just a few weeks ago, I was watching a video on physics. The video was by a teacher, and he explained everything well, but I still didn't understand what was going on until my sister explained it. While not a teacher, the relationship between me and my sister actually made the concept easier to understand. So then, why are teachers better than YouTube? Human connection. There is no substitute for human connection. It is a relationship. For some of us, that human connection might have first come from a kindergarten teacher who gave us a hug after we skinned our knee. But there are different types of human connection. Each teacher will form a different type of human connection with each student. As I reflected on the teachers I've had, I found that there are 5 different kinds: comforters, guides, advocates, transitioners, and challengers. The comforters provide a fun, upbeat class to look forward to every day. Oftentimes, these teachers end up being our favorites. They create a sense of security and a safe place to go to. For some of us, these are the teachers who allowed us to have a donut party. But for me, I was comforted more by the teachers who made me feel like my academic choices were valid. Second, there are the guides. These are the teachers who provide a place of comfort, but give you a lot more freedom to explore the subject matter. These teachers act like scout leaders. They stimulate your curiosity while just letting you be. These teachers create a sense of trust between students and teachers. They trust that their students will listen and respect them, while the students trust that the teacher will give them some freedom to explore. Those of us who have had success in AP and college prep classes know that the guides helped us recognize what we needed to study outside of class. We were guided to that knowledge in action. Third, there are the advocates. Advocates help us work through our problems, whether social or academic. They may have helped us through that tough math class, or may have even directly advocated for us. These teachers provided support. They always have your back. These are the teachers who were the no-nonsense teachers when you needed one. They never let their kids get away with any sort of mean behavior. Fourth are the transitioners. These are the teachers who may not have appeared to have that strong of a connection with us, but they really did. Transitioners realize that there is more to school than just academics. They recognize that sometimes we need to work on the social part. They let us have our social transitions, knowing that the academic part will transition to the next level naturally. I remember a couple of classes where the academics were not really a challenge. And I know that the teacher simply let me work on developing some leadership skills. School is not always about problems. Sometimes teachers help us develop skills. Finally, there are the challengers. These are the teachers that keep us up late trying to solve a math problem or finishing a paper. These are the teachers that push us, but ultimately make us better students and people all around. These are the teachers that challenge us because they believed in us, and these are the teachers that challenge us because we wanted to be believed in. I realize that these 2 subcategories might be opposite extremes. I've had both. Both resulted in my growth. These categories aren't as clear-cut as it seems. They are not stagnant and are personal for each student. A teacher can be an advocate one day and a transitioner the next. I had a teacher who would challenge me with a tough problem one night, and then 2 days later would be a comforter with a fun story. Teachers often form different kinds of human connection with different students. A teacher might be a challenger to one student and a comforter to another. The important thing is that they make an impact on us. Teachers, you do not have to be a single kind of teacher all the time. Different students need different types of human connection. We students need these 5 different types of human connections at different times. Part of being a good teacher is knowing what kind of human connection a student needs and how to make an impact. Now, most of you know me, but some of you don't. My early elementary school years were challenging to say the least. Without trying to blame anyone, people made assumptions about me, both academically and socially. Well, nobody likes to hear the word, I was bullied. This is not something that is unique to White Bear. I was kind of a weird kid, and I had a lot of quirks. I always had to have at least 3 books with me wherever I went. I was a nerd before my peers even knew what a nerd was. During this time, kids did not know how to handle weirdness. Neither did adults. When people do not know how to handle something, they make assumptions. I ended up leaving White Bear Lake School District for several years. Then other things started to happen that were out of my control. Most of you know that I have a physical disability, which is way too strange and complex to explain in this 5-minute speech. But it made my middle school years more difficult compared to my peers. I was lucky enough to have these 5 different types of human connection. My teachers helped me through the grieving process and made me realize my potential. When I returned to White Bear, I needed a place of healing without any additional limitations. I struggled to find myself academically. Had it not been for these 5 different types of teachers, I would not be here at this excellence event or heading off to college next fall. Without these types of human connection, I would not be who I am today. Teachers are better than YouTube. People are far better and inspiring than any internet video. Personal connections will always have more of an impact than any YouTube video ever will. Thank you, teachers.
And thank you, Mitzi. Next, I guess I'd like to welcome our honored alumnus speaker to the stage. And here to introduce Dr. Brian Grove is a former classmate and current Spanish teacher, Carrie Fern. Please welcome Carrie.
Good evening. I'm truly proud to be here tonight in 2 roles, as an honored educator, muchísimas gracias por la invitación de Pepe, or Micah, and also as an alumni bear to introduce another fellow dear bear as our alumnus speaker. Our speaker tonight graduated in the class ahead of me, but we ran in the same circles in high school, and not just the circles of North Campus, but around and around the South Campus track. Dr. Brian Grove, AKA Grover, was a standout high school student. He was also an athlete, serious student, there's a serious student, an athlete and a musician like a lot of you in this room. He graduated in the top 5% in the class of 1991, was a member of the National Honor Society, played in the band and jazz band, participated in the Science Olympiad team, and was captain of both the cross-country and track teams. He also managed to have some fun. And perhaps he was predicting his future as a dentist in his senior summary advised to smile, and this poem that he published that was published in the yearbook that he titled Mouth to Dirt. I remember Brian's kindness, his smile, and his determination, especially on the track. But I hadn't seen him since high school until about 7 years ago. This is where I take Mr. Wacker's cue and talk about my own kids. I have a son who has faced a lot of health issues and goes to a lot of appointments. And as all of the parents in this room can attest and understand, having quality and trustworthy caregivers can really relieve a lot of the stress when you're facing medical issues with your child. So when I found out my 5-year-old son's pediatric dentist was retiring, I was immediately very worried. Now what? I thought. We're going to start over, another new face that I have to teach about my son's history. But luckily, the dental hygienist, who also was a former bear and a former student, recommended this new guy in town. Fast forward a few months, and I got to our next visit. And in walks the new guy, Dr. Grove, Dr. Brian Grove, Grover! The same smile, the same kindness and the same determination to make sure my son received the best care possible, but with the least amount of worry, fear, or anxiety. And that goes for both my son and me. I know that he treats all of his patients in the same way, but that first early morning appointment honestly felt like fate. But backing up, let me tell you a little bit more about Dr. Grove's accomplishments after high school. He earned a faculty scholarship to attend Concordia College in Moorhead. There, he continued to excel in multiple facets. He was again captain of his cross-country and track teams and was a 5-time all-conference winner, an academic All-American, and still holds top 10 all-time performances in Minnesota in 3 events. On the side, he also was a member of the Tri Beta Biological Honor Society and graduated magna cum laude with a double major in both English writing and biology. After leaving the Cobbers, Brian received a scholarship to the University of Minnesota Dental School, where he earned his Doctor of Dental Science degree. During his residency, he acquired a certificate in pediatric dentistry and a Master of Science degree focused on oral health in Minnesota's Hmong community. From 2006 to 2010, Dr. Grove lived in Massachusetts and worked at the Children's Hospital in Boston as a member of the Down syndrome team and as a clinical instructor lecturer in special needs pediatric dentistry. During those same 4 years, he was also an instructor at the Harvard Dental School in pediatric oral pathology. And in 2008, he became a board-certified diplomat of the American Board of Pediatric Dentistry, which is, to the rest of us, the Mount Everest of clinical and academic excellence in his profession. In 2010, Dr. Grove returned to Minnesota and became owner and pediatric dentist with Metropolitan Pediatric Dental Associates in St. Paul and North Oaks. Now raise your hand if you love going to the dentist. That's what I thought. Now, both of my sons love going to the dentist, and they love going to see Dr. Grove. And usually, as we're leaving the office after their checkups, they ask when they can go back. And I tell them, well, if you're good, maybe in like 6 months. I am personally so very grateful for Grover's care, for his expertise and his compassion. He is obviously a remarkable doctor, but he is especially a remarkable human. And I'm also grateful for his costumes. It's especially good to time your visits to his office during Halloween, when he wears a costume every single day of the week. So tonight, seniors, our guest speaker is not likely to tell you about all the awards and degrees and certifications that he's accumulated. He probably won't tell you that he still loves to run and is in the process of running a marathon in every state in the union. He might not mention that he takes his dad on an amazing international adventure every single year. And he might not even tell you about the hours of time he donates to give free dental care to children in poverty. But listen carefully, because I guarantee that his message will be caring, thoughtful, and inspiring. And joining him tonight is his own honored teacher of choice, retired teacher, Mrs. Profe, Mary Dolly, and his father, another former retired educator, Mr. Virgil Grove. So ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Dr. Brian Grove.
Hi there. Thank you, Carrie. I'm a little taller here. Here we go. So, can you hear me okay? Is it working okay? Back up. Is this better? Okay. So I want to thank Carrie and Principal Wald for inviting me here tonight to talk a little bit about brushing and flossing and the ins and outs of tooth decay. I'm going to get my slides out. Just kidding. Just kidding. Wow, this is great. It is a complete honor to be here with you guys tonight. The esteemed top 10% of the class, White Bear Lake graduates, congratulations. Mentors and parents and family, congratulations, first off, to you on your accomplishments and what is the culmination of high school and years of hard work, sweat, and I'm sure a few tears. It has all landed you here tonight. How exciting it is to think about where you're going to go from here, where you're going to go next on your journey. That is what I want to speak to you about tonight, this journey. Tonight, I'm going to leave you with 5 challenges that had an effect on my life, and hopefully they'll prove valuable for you to hear as well. First off, I want to say a big thanks to Carrie for inviting me to nominate me to speak at this event. We really didn't have anything like this back when I was in high school, and I wish we would have. I mean, what an awesome opportunity for you guys to say thank you to someone that has made a huge difference on your life. And we all know by now, just one person can make a huge difference, right? Carrie and I were both on the track team, like she said. She was an awesome athlete and an all-around nice person that, was friends with just about everybody. No one had a bad thing to say about her. Carrie was a jumper, mostly, I think, right? And I was a distance runner, so we mostly just kind of saw each other from opposite sides of the track and waved, and then didn't see her for years. And then she walked into my office here. One of our offices is in North Oaks with Cooper and Jet, her kiddos, and I get the pleasure of seeing them every 6 months, which has been great. So thank you. And I also see that another classmate of mine, Matt McLaughlin, is a history teacher here, right? Another great, all-around awesome person that I actually graduated with. And so it's great to see you as well. It's nice to see that you guys have such quality here. We didn't have anything like this back in high school, so I was really excited when Principal Wald said that I'd be able to honor my own educator or mentor from back in my days in White Bear Lake, back in the day, Senora Dolly, my high school Spanish teacher. So I'm really glad that you could be here tonight with us. When I was a senior, myself and a few other people, we won the Spanish lip sync and dance contest. I don't know if they still have that today. Do you guys still have that? Well, I could pull out the moves, but I'm not going to do that because, we danced. And the name of the song was, I still remember, Deseo más y más, Deseo más y más, Movimiento Sensual. Seems kind of a strange thing to, anyway, but I'm going to spare you the dance moves from that. Senora Dolly was a teacher and mentor and friend who made a lasting mark on my life as to just how important the languages can be and how important a role they can play in your future beyond high school. I use Spanish almost daily at work, surely several times a week. As a pediatric dentist who sees a high amount of underserved kiddos, a lot of the kids that I see are 1, 2, 3 years of age and don't speak a lot of English. So it's been great to be able to pull out Spanish as a behavior management technique in my wheelhouse and start speaking with the kids. And it's much more than just abre la boca o enseñarme sus dientes. And the parents and families of these kiddos really appreciate it. And to me, it's been one of my most valuable behavior management techniques, above nitrous and everything, and and sedative drugs. And so, thank you. The crux of my message to you tonight is this. Challenge number 1. Guys, don't let anyone, and I repeat, anyone, tell you that it is impossible to achieve something and that there is no way that you'll be successful at something, no matter how big or small this is. Whether it's your goal to be the most meticulous accountant that in your future town, whether it's to be a teacher and change and challenge and affect the lives of students, or shoot for the stars and move to Hollywood and have your own star in the Walk of Fame. I'm here to tell you that it's all possible. Sadly, we all have, and we all will continue to hear the voices of you can't, or I think more commonly, I can't, right? Along the way. A little story about that shortly. The value of a good education was instilled in me at an early age, since my dad is an educator and was a high school guidance counselor in the Forest Lake High School District for over 30 years. My dad is here tonight too, so I'd like to give him a little shout out and say thanks, Dad. I know that he and my mom would have attended even if I was speaking at the opening of a broom closet with nobody in attendance, right? So I grew up on the south side of White Bear Lake. South side, right? Really close to the high school. I had my share of odd jobs from elementary school onward, from inheriting my brother's AM and PM at the time paper routes. That was great, right? To inherit that. To mowing lawns, to Red Lobster, to working at this little random Chinese restaurant by Kowalski's that was called Gung Hao Chow Mein, where I was one of the cooks and had no cooking experience, so that I would have avoided that one. To working the milk section at Festival Foods. First in the long, long line of random jobs. As a kid in elementary school, I was a bit hyperactive, maybe a bit late to mature. I do remember sitting behind the teacher's desk a time or three in first or second grade, and that was a huge punishment at the time, right, John Riley? He was in my elementary school class randomly. So anyway, I digress. I didn't have to do that in high school, I don't think, Senor Dolly, right? Well, one of my most vivid and early impactful memories, and it really had an effect on me, was a day back in 1980 or 81. Yikes, I know, right? And this lady came into our classroom, and I was minding my own business in those little desks that, had opened up, and you put your folders and trapper keepers in there and everything. And she went and talked to the teacher, and then she said, "Would all of the high potential students please follow me down to the office?" And a few kids got up. And I remember, I looked at my teacher, I looked at the kids, and I thought, well, that's me, I'm gonna head with them. Duh. So about 5 or 6 kids got up and followed suit and followed her out of the first grade classroom. And I got out of my little desk and followed suit. Halfway down the hallway, she stops, she looks at me, and she says, "Well, what's your name?" "Brian Grove," I said proudly. She looked at her piece of paper, looked back at me squarely in the eyes and said, "Brian Grove, you're not high potential. You're gonna have to go back to the classroom now." I heard some chuckles. I turned red, deflated. I headed back to the classroom and opened up that desk and put my head in, embarrassed. Now, when I think back to this today, I just laugh. I mean, it's absurd that, and I don't think it's not the same language, I hope, is not used. But I can look back at the situation and just laugh. And I'm sure we can all relate to a story like this and put it in your own context. Challenge number 2, don't let anyone define you. Don't let anyone put limits on what you may be able to accomplish. Seek to break through these stereotypes and take risks in the classroom and, more importantly, in life. And now look, I guess I've made it because I get to hang out with all you guys, right? The top 10% of the class, all definitely high potential in class, at school, and in life. There's a quote I like that goes something like this: "When you are free from self-doubt, you fail better because you aren't so preoccupied with that failure that you forget how to learn. You forget how to grow. When you believe in yourself, you succeed better, and hours spent questioning, doubting, and fearing can be given over to working and exploring and living." All this became a mantra for myself as I tried to move beyond people's definitions and my own self-doubts about what is possible and what is not. To go from that scrawny kid on the 7th grade cross-country running team who literally, the first cross-country meet, my shorts fell down and I ran in my underwear for a while. That's my son, I'm sure you're saying, Dad. No joke. I think they had to go find me on some training runs because I was literally the slowest person on the team. To go from that to becoming captain of the cross-country teams and track teams in high school and in college, to go from that hyperactive kid back in 1980 and 81 to a high school senior, still trying to answer that burning question, what the heck am I going to do the rest of my life? I have no idea. I wasn't sure. And that's another thing. Challenge number 3, guys. If you aren't sure as to what your career, if your future vocation will be, it's okay. It's perfectly okay to embrace it. Try on a lot of hats. An experience or job at first may not be the flashiest thing in the world, or even seem like an obvious fit for you. It wasn't for me. But at the end, if you love what you do, you've succeeded. Don't settle for otherwise. Don't settle at all. There is so much time. You know, the next 4 years of your life are going to be about classes, yes, and it'll be difficult. But they're also going to be about developing new friendships and holding on to the friendships you have here from your class and in your community. A chance to take classes, yes, but also have many experiences and an opportunity to find new mentors like the ones you've invited tonight. As for my journey, I headed out to Concordia College, Moorhead. Go Cobbers. I see we have some Cobbers in the house. I was excited to hear that, so good luck. Like I said, I wasn't exactly sure which direction I was going to go in. I remember when I was a senior, we had to do some questionnaire where they asked what you wanted to do the rest of your life, and a lot of people knew. And I put, I think, a veterinarian or a microbiologist or something else, totally unrelated. I still had no idea. I did have a few interesting experiences that definitely shaped my views along the way, and I ended up a biology and writing major with 1 class short of a Spanish minor. So close enough, right, Senora? This leads me to challenge number 4. Don't be afraid to ask people if you can shadow them at work, whatever field you're interested in. It's invaluable. So, the summer after my senior year of high school, I shadowed a vet in White Bear Lake. And I was there, and this big, burly guy came in with his pet hamster named Larry. I don't know why I remember that, but he was there to put Larry down, and the guy was in tears. And, I was there, and I'm like, this isn't really for me. We had this really cool entomology teacher in college. That means bug professor. And the guy was a legend in the bug field. And he had 3 beetles named after him in the fields of South Dakota, which I thought was cool. He would tell stories of spiders chasing him down the street in Australia. So after my second year at college, I got a job at Cedar Creek Wildlife Refuge, which is outside of Ham Lake, Minnesota. And all day long, I would take milk jugs, go out in the fields, and I would sweep for grasshoppers all day by myself. And at the end of the day, I would come in and I would give my grasshoppers to the researchers, and they would do whatever they did with them. When it would rain, I got to count blades of grass all day. It wasn't exactly as exciting as those stories of spiders chasing you down the street. Right after college at Concordia, I got a job, an internship at the University of Minnesota, where I extracted DNA out of Streptococcus mutans bacteria all day. That's the bacteria that causes tooth decay. Being a microbiologist wasn't my thing, but my boss there was a pediatric dentist, and she also had an oral science PhD. And she asked me to shadow her at her offices, which I thought, you know what? There's no way I'm going to like this, just having my hand, this is like putting your hands in people's mouths all day. I'm not going to like this. But I went to shadow with her for quite a while, and I really enjoyed just doing, I know we all love to go to the dentist, right? But, working with kids, working with special needs kids, working with the underserved, and being able to do something difficult for that child and somehow making a difficult experience easier for them. It made complete sense to me, and that's the direction I went in. To make a long story shorter, I ended up having a few combined experiences that led me to where I am today. Volunteering in the Big Brothers Big Sisters program, and then also working in an adult special needs clinic while I was in dental school and afterwards, and I realized that this was the fit for me. But the moral of my story here tonight is it took me a long time to get there, and it took a lot of different experiences for me to try on before I figured out what was right. After dental school, I applied to a 2-year residency program in pediatric dentistry at the University of Minnesota and completed an additional master's thesis in public health. Then I accepted a fellowship in special needs dentistry at Boston Children's Hospital, which led to all the things that Carrie talked about earlier. But even when I first got out there, there was those voices in my head, those voices from the teacher back in first grade. What am I doing here? Like, I'm this kid from Elm Drive, the south side of White Bear Lake, teaching at Harvard. Like, how did this happen? But I had to listen to them and change the narrative. And I think we all have to do that. We shouldn't let the voices inside our head limit you. Hopefully you'll do that too. I know you can. Open them up, open your mind, and listen to the voices of mentors and parents who truly know what you're capable of. This brings me to my final challenge for you tonight. Spend as much time as you can with individuals who are unlike yourself, whether that be in volunteer experiences or in your future career. There is no better way, in my humble opinion, to learn more about yourself and who you are as a person. Fast forward to today, I spent 5 years in Boston, but was ready to come back and give back to the community where I grew up. The East Coast was great, also very expensive. I think it's advantageous for one at least to explore other communities. Putting yourself out there, taking risks, and exploring the possibilities will help solidify where you belong. There is no right road, guys. Some of you may know what you want to do right now, and some of you may not have this solidified for several years. My wish for you tonight is that you never say down the line that you wish you would have, or what if. The people of this community, your mentors here tonight, and families are huge influences that have guided you to where you are tonight, right? But now, guys, it's time to choose your own adventure. Choose your own adventure in life. You are very fortunate. I was very fortunate. And tonight, we can all be thankful for the mentors in our lives that brought us to where we are today. Thank you, guys. It's been a privilege to speak to you tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Next, I would like to invite the co-chair of the Excellent Event, Janet Newberg, to the stage. Member of the class of '74, Janet is a former honored alumnus speaker at this event. She is chairperson of our school board, where she has served for 11 years. Please welcome Janet Newberg.
Well, good evening, everyone. It is now time to recognize all of our students here tonight and the educators who they have chosen to honor. So I'd like to invite the students up on the right, my left, and line up alphabetically. And then I'd like to invite the honored educators up on your left, my right, and line up alphabetically also, but alphabetically by your student's last name. And when you've accomplished this, we'll get going. Come on up. It appears that the students are getting this accomplished a lot more quickly than the teachers. All right, are we just about ready, teachers? All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the pairs of names. When the names are read, if the pair would come to the center of the stage and greet each other. Handshakes, hugs, high fives are all permissible, however you see appropriate. Once you greet each other, you can proceed down the center aisle, where members of the White Bear Lake Lions Club will present you with a gift and certificate from the committee as our recognition to you. There are some students who were not able to attend tonight. I will read the pair of names, even if the student was not here. You can learn more about them in your program. When I read the pair's names, I'll also mention where and when it was that these educators so impressed the students. Some of the educators who will be honored here tonight are either now retired or teach in a different building or at a different grade level than when they met these students. But what I will say is what grade level and it was that they met these students. And finally, feel free to applaud after each pair is read. Our first pair are not here tonight. The student, Yani Abdullahi, honored Lisa Horowicki, who was her high school counselor. Next, Lydia Anderson and Caitlin Held. Ms. Held taught honors language art, 10th grade. Micah Anderson and Profe Carrie Fern, Spanish, 11th grade. Elsa Bellotta and Doug Potoff. Mr. Potoff is the track and field throws coach at the high school. Rachel Benjaminson and Keith Svensson, world history, 11th grade. Casey Berthume and Abigail Case, Onika Elementary, 5th grade. Not here tonight is student Jake Birchland. He honors John Forrestel, who taught language arts at the Area Learning Center. Mr. Forrestel is here, so Mr. Forrestel, could you wave or stand up? Samuel Broberg, Mark Tyson, Vadnais Heights, 1st grade. Allison Brown and Joshua Lair, language arts, 10th grade. Zachary Cadalbert, Amanda Burns, Lake Ayres Elementary, 2nd grade. Catherine Chase and Mary Ellen Muir, Lincoln Elementary, 2nd and 3rd grade. Oh, here comes the first weird jackets. Emma Corcoran and Cassandra Knudsen, AP Chemistry, 12th grade. Michaela Cragen and Jeremy Post, high school basketball coach. Ashley Dahlbeck and Madame Janelle Toussaint, French, 12th grade. Jacob Dahlhoff and James Christensen, chemistry, 11th grade. Samantha Engrove and Jeremy Rockford, band, North Campus. Hannah Falk and Jeff Willey, tech director at the theater. Jared Fike and Chris Campbell, enriched language arts, 8th grade. Tanner Gilbert and Barbara Bursack, language arts, 11th through 12th grade. Tia Hannes and Jennifer Kirkham, language arts, 11th grade. Elijah Hanusa and Tom Green, 4th grade at Centerpoint Elementary, which is now Matoska IB. Okay. We'll go back to Lydia Downs and Stephanie Kerbage, South Campus History, 11th grade. Thank you. Sarah Hirsch and Daniel Rossiter, Engineering, 9th through 10th grade. Chad Holman and Hannah Wiggins, Lake Ayres Elementary, 3rd grade. And I have to tell you, we had a hard time tracking down Hannah Wiggins. We found her in California, and when she learned that Chad Holman wanted her to attend this event, she flew back to Minnesota just to attend the Excellence Event. Haley Hopkins and Karen Benjamin Beck, counselor at the Area Learning Center. Callista Hughes and Jacob Montgomery, Human Anatomy and Physiology, 12th grade. Melanie Humphrey and Jamie Kovacs, Onika Elementary, 4th grade. Carrie Hunter and Philip Wacker, AP Physics, 12th grade. Ivy Hunt and Sarah Martin, Language Arts, Theater Arts, 9th and 11th grades. Jacob Johnson and Nancy Thome, Lincoln Elementary, Math, 4th grade. Kevin Kaufer and Craig Nasvik, Phi Ed, 11th through 12th grade. Marina Canold and Nancy Peterson, Language Arts, 6th grade. Ida Kai and Paul Mavison, Tech Ed, 6th through 8th grade. Emma Larson and Shannon Anderson, Band, 11th through 12th grade. Tu Lee and Margaret Lane, Vadnais Heights, ESL, kindergarten through 5th grade. Grant Lowline and Travis Littlefield, Math, 6th and 8th grades. Peyton Magnan, Jody O'Donovan, Vadnais Elementary, 4th grade. Lydia Malitsky and Profe Kari Sundberg, Spanish, 11th through 12th grade. Melissa Mavitz and Amanda Vernon, pre-calculus, 10th grade. Mark McCutcheon and Joshua Lane, Language Arts, 12th grade. Alexa Molan and Michael McCullough, Social Studies, 8th grade. Travis Momsen and Matthew McLaughlin, World History, 11th grade. William Morris and Stephen Gravely, Otter Lake Elementary, 2nd grade. Madeline Morris and Nancy Perbilski, Vadnais Heights Elementary, 4th grade. Shay Nickham and Tony Walfert, Social Studies, 10th grade. Keely Nisler and Rita Leonard, Medical Career Exploration, Biotechnical Engineering, 11th through 12th grades. Kylie Noonan and Barb Bliss, Vadnais Elementary, 5th grade. Aaron Olson and Madame Cara Martinson, French, 6th through 9th grades. Signe Osland and Matthew Danielson, AP Calculus BC, Multivariable Calculus, and AP Statistics, 11 through 12. Adriana Perrin and Melissa Wickert, History, 9th through 10th grade. Daniel Peterson and Brenda Shea, Onika Elementary, 3rd grade. Taylor Potts and Sean Gritzmacher, Art, 11th through 12th grade. Not here tonight is student Michael Prelgo, and he chose to honor Hui Shu, who is his Chinese teacher in 12th grade, and Hui is present. There she is. Mitzi Probst and Connor Luby, AP Composition, 11th grade. Ashley Reinhardt and Alex Carlson, American Government, 12th grade. Molly Riley and Dave Ashley, soccer coach, 10th through 12th grade. And not present tonight are student Jack Rogowski and the educator he is honoring, Brietta Hudson, who was his AP Stats teacher, 12th grade. Michaela Sagnas and Benjamin Kirkman, Language Arts, 9th grade. Grace Schneider and Mark Misgan, tennis coach, 10th through 12th grades. Douglas Shield and Seth Salinger, Nordic skiing coach, 7th through 12th grades. Nathan Thomas and Molly Vadnais, middle school art. Patrick Timmons and Wendy Suya, choir, 9th through 10th grades. I wish I had eyes in the back of my head so I could see what's going on back here. Christina Talusty and Jean Mack, Matoska Elementary, 2nd through 3rd grade. Charles Wachtler and Cameron Malum, Government, 12th grade. Aaron Wang and Stephen Hawkinson, ESL teacher, 6th through 8th grade. Kevin Wan and Greg Swenson, Willow Lane Elementary, 4th grade. Blake Welly and We Win, American History, 7th grade. Lauren Whalen and Dad, Timothy Whalen. Lauren told us she never actually had her father in a class in school. I guess she's just had him in a class in life. So, Emma Williamson and Diane Jorgensen Nickel, Otter Lake Reach teacher, 4th grade. And finally, Vani Yang and Karen Bredenbeck, biology teacher at the high school. And let's give one last round of applause to all of our educators and students tonight.
So each year we host the Excellence Event. We are reminded of the worthwhile nature of this event, recognizing our students who performed at the top of their class and who represent the very best of our community. It's inspiring in itself. But to have teachers honored who played such an important role in the success of the students is outstanding. I would also like to acknowledge the primary educators of the young people with us tonight, their parents, students, teachers. Please join me in thanking the outstanding parents and guardians who have made your presence here tonight possible. As we wrap up the evening, I'd like to thank, we have many people to thank for their efforts. Our speakers, Phil Wacker, Taylor Potts, Mitzi Probst, and of course our distinguished alumnus, Dr. Brian Grove. Again, the evening is made possible by the generosity of our sponsors, the individual businesses and organizations who provide the financial support to make this event occur. You'll find all of our sponsors on the second to the last page of your program. Tonight's complimentary photographs of students and educators are provided through LifeTouch NSS. Once these photos are developed, they will be given at a later date to students and educators in attendance. Thanks to LifeTouch photographer Randy Vanderwood for his services. I'd also like to thank Jeff Willey and Corinne Steffens of ISD 624 Technology Services for the use of their equipment and for their help during the evening. And tonight's Excellence Event program is being recorded by the On Location Department, Cable Channel 19. We want to thank Arlen Becker and his volunteer crew for their services. Playback dates and times of the Excellence Event are printed in your program. The committee would also like to thank Jimmy's Conference and Catering for another evening of fine food and service. As always, the staff here at Jimmy's have done an excellent job creating a wonderful venue and service for this event. Our steering committee assured that the Excellence Event continued this year to honor the excellence of our students and teacher. Could the steering committee members please stand? The committee chairs are Janet Newberg and South Campus Principal Tim Wald. We want to offer a special thank you to Julie Anderson, Jody Reber, and Ari Babcock, who did outstanding work preparing tonight's event. And also thank you to Mary Cowitz for preparing the centerpieces, and Grandma's Bakery and Uptown Girl Desserts for the White Bear cookies. I know, you're all clapping for the cookies. So we're nearing the end of the evening, but we still have one more piece of business to take care of, and everybody has a little program, and if you open up your program to the very last page, you will find an orange dot, only one per table. But if you are the one with the orange dot, you get the centerpiece to take home. So thank you for joining us this evening, and have a wonderful night.